afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the last best of 5 sets of day 2 of the Iberian League. For those of you who just joined us, where have you been all this time? We missed you. My name is Nelson AC Silva, and I'm joined by Max Formal Von Neumann to bring you all the action in and out of the Rocket League pitch. And for the final series of today, we have EC4 versus GTZ Bulls. Max, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, and I'm excited for this one. It's another Spain versus Portugal matchup, and one that, might not necessarily be as one-sided because, certain teams like the Canyons aren't involved. We're finally going to see EC4 going up against the Portuguese side. Now, GTZ
Mhm.
also did come up short yesterday. However, they showed a lot of promise. They played very great on the defensive half of the pitch, but they struggled sometimes at the clears. And while normally that could be almost a death sentence for the team, I can almost say the same thing about EC4. It was their defensive clears that really held them back. So two teams with a similar weakness does sometimes paint a picture of a game that can go either way.
We'll have to wait and see because both of these teams played against the dominant team of their region. So for the win, we consider them to be the dominant team of Portugal. And Canyons, we've already established that they're the dominant team not only in their region, but also of this tournament in specific. So let's see how they pair up against each other because, well, both of these teams presented some very valid points and why they should have contested the games a little bit better. GTZ Bulls took 4 games into overtime, much to credit for the
Mhm.
win and how their playstyle dictates their pacing.
Yeah.
So against EC4, something's got to change, and let's see if the Bulls can adapt properly. And the same can go for EC4 as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, like, while the Bulls, yes, they did have at times weaker defensive clears, when they did find the gaps, they were able to strike quickly, frequently against FTW. EC4, something kind of similar with them. I think what took the Canyons very off balance was how fast they were actually to play and how they were willing to keep up with the Canyons. In fact, they even took a game off the Canyons. And that's kind of why coming into this, I'm a little worried for GTZ because if they play at that same Canyon speed, GTZ might struggle. However, was that a case of EC4 rising up to the challenge? Are they another one of those teams that kind of vary on how strong they play depending on who they're up against? Well, I think that's what we're going to find out in this series.
Absolutely, we're ready to go into the pitch. All 6 players are ready to go, and we are ready to kick off game number 1 of this best of 5 series. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is the final match of this afternoon. On the blue side, we're going to have one of the teams, and on the orange side, we're going to have the other one. We don't have an overlay just yet, so please bear with us as we try to correct that mishap.
I can't tell you right now, it is EC4 on the blue side, taking on GTZ, who is on the orange side. And
All
once
right.
again, we're staying that patented Bulls defense right now. Where are we? XYZ, a traitor to his own country, is going to be the man who finds the first goal.
All right. XYZ on EC4's side finds a nice rebound and gets it right on the bottom right corner. Really well played, really well placed there by EC4. Let's see if the Portuguese squad can do something about it. As GTZ Bulls get the first kick on that ball and have the first offensive press, but immediately XYZ takes it away from them.
And I should note, I'm not calling XYZ a traitor just because I dislike the person, but he is of Portuguese nationality, so it is fitting that he does score the first goal against the Portuguese team. Hadri right now going to try and clear it away, gets bumped straight in the air. Actually, that looked very bizarre as pass back from XYZ. He's going to get intercepted by Psycho, who's looking to drop it down. A good bump, and that goal is good. We are tied.
That was actually a very important bump in the back of it. I don't know if you caught that. Look at Karsten.
Yeah.
Karsten just, or not even Karsten. It was, I think it was Enrique who bumped Karsten out of the way and allowed King Tuga to actually fall in line and get that ball in the net.
Yeah, that was a great bump play, and we are tied, and already I am liking that the Bulls are able to keep up with EC4's pace right now. This is much faster than what they played against for the win, and as a result, they did get themselves an early goal. Henrik looking to drop a pass to a teammate, but no one's there except for the other side. Carson tries to clear it, but Psycho is going to be able to stop him, and we're playing a bit of ping pong right now. Usually that is disrupted with a pass, and Hadri is the one who's going to catch that pass, set up Carson, and help score a goal.
And that was pretty important because look at Enrique. He's struggling to find some boost to his name, but once he realizes, wait, they're going on the offense, I'm not gonna get in the defense in time. It was way, way too late. You already had the play happening, and you already had the ball in the net.
Yeah, ping pong ball, you've got to be careful when that gets started. Someone's going to cheat forward, and that's exactly what EC4 did right now. And EC4, again, a bit of an attack play right now. Hattery doing such a good job trying to keep everyone in the goal, but Karsten can't really attack fast enough. Goes for the solo play, gets contested, and that's actually a great touch. One of the touches that the Bulls were lacking yesterday. They're not going to turn into a goal, but I'm already seeing positive signs. Unfortunately, they may have overcommitted on offense, and Karsten's able to sneak right on back behind and get a third goal for his team.
It's the rebounds, man. Look at this. They had the offensive play set up. They never expected the ball to fall back into their side of the field, and Karsten with the turtle touches up with wheels and gets a very clean goal against GTZ Bulls.
Yeah, it was just a case. I think the Bulls got a little bit too excited with what they set up for themselves, and they didn't keep anyone back and left themselves exposed to that counterattack right there. Good job from EC4. Again, this is a very fast team. They kind of showed off their speed with that goal right there. And once again, they're on this offensive side of the pitch. Hardry should be able to set something up. It's a pass to Karsten, and that was a sniper shot, 4-1 in favor of EC4.
With two players defending that goal, it is a shame that none of them managed to get to it. You thought that Henrique could get it because he was flying off the wall, and you saw that Psycho didn't even move. He didn't even try to go for the defense because he thought, okay, he's got it. But no, that was not the case at all.
Yeah, I mean, that thing was an absolute bullet. 114 kilometers per hour, put in a pretty much a tough spot to defend. That said, Henrique, he can get some cheeky goals himself, and he does get the second goal for his team.
Pretty clean as it gets. As Psycho went back and tried to get some disruption in that backline, which allowed Enrique to get a clean goal. Still good signs. 3 minutes left on the timer here. Still a lot of game to be played, and GTZ Bulls can still catch up those 2 goals against EC4.
Yeah, they can do just that. Definitely a high-scoring game. 6 goals in 2 minutes is a bit ridiculous right now, and very different from the Bulls that we saw yesterday, who were much more defensive mindset. But right now you can see everyone's down on the blue side of the pitch. They have to race back just because of how aggressive they're trying to approach this one. Clearly a different Bulls team, and it is working with a monochrome of success right here. They're definitely taking it to EC4. This game is closer than perhaps what that scoreline might suggest.
Scoreline suggests that EC4 remaining on the offense. Karsten in the back completely disrupts 2 players from GTZ Bulls, as Enrique again seems to be the player that's doing the most work here. Kintuga, one of the promoters of the Bulls scores, but Psycho goes head and head against Hadri now. On the wall, Enrique sets the ball up in the center field. XYZ just misses it completely, but there's nobody else on GTZ Bulls' side to actually get it in. Great defense from King Tuga.
Hattery has a shot, however. Good defense by Psycho. Not the touch he was looking for. Instead, turns into a pass. Enrique has to get up, and XYZ isn't even going to challenge. Loses the race to the boost as well. This could be a good opportunity. King Tuga able to push it forward, but drops it right to XYZ, who throws it to Hattery, and that's a much faster and much cleaner pass from EC4. And this is what I mean about that speed. They can actually pass the ball at a moment's notice and then strike in return. So that's something that this orange side is going to have to be careful of. That said, King Tuga goes for the flip shot, unable to connect. Psycho following through, can't get it past XYZ.
Well, good positioning from XYZ to clear out that ball. Great attempt from GTZ Bulls, showing good signs and still showing signs of life. Above all, Psycho goes in for another shot. Doesn't quite land it, but King Tuga is there for the rebound. It's Enrique that takes it. Now King Tuga tries to make the play happen again. Kind of misses the ball. Enrique sets it in the center. It looks good, but Psycho finds enough boost to get it in. Enrique just has to touch it in, and there it is. 4-3 on the board.
Where was the defense from EC4 right there? XYZ does not get a good touch at all. Okay, it was Karsten who was trying to come off of the wall, but he was too far back and unfortunately unable to get there in time. I was super confused how that net was left exposed, and the speed of EC4 not there sets up Henrique able to punish, and as a result, it's a 1-goal game with only 50 seconds remaining.
See, they're already setting out the ball in the corner. Kintuga, very much offensive right now. As he had a little bit of a mounting going on. Neither player could really move, but a bit of a time waster there as Hadri tries to clear out the ball, doesn't quite get enough air on it. Kintuga sets it up, tries to pinch it with Psycho. Don't quite find the tandem synergy get the good play going as Enrique sets it back on the offense.
Yeah, that was just awkward, unfortunately, for the Bulls right there, as Psycho was going for the boost and King Tuga wanted to smash it, and they kind of get tangled up with each other, and it does bring a halt to that offensive play. However, they are back on the blue side of the pitch, but with only 10 seconds remaining, it's going to be a tough one, especially with Karsten pushing the ball forward. He's going to drop it to XYZ. Shots on target. It's good. That's the death blow, and it will be EC4 taking game number 1.
What a goal from XYZ. Comes out of nowhere, just clinches the ball, sends it ground bounds and into the goal. Very fast play, very well coordinated. And I mean, EC4 are going to be able to take game number 1 with a pretty convincing lead.
Yeah, EC4 definitely, they were very apt at putting points on the board right there. Something I was not expecting out of the Bulls, who yesterday were making clutch save after clutch save after clutch save. At the same time, however, this Bulls lineup definitely approached the game differently. They were playing much more aggressively, and they did set themselves up. They were able to get a couple goals as a result that they probably wouldn't have had those opportunities yesterday. However, it also left them more exposed. And EC4, we saw it especially at the end of that game with that last goal, kind of exemplifying how fast they can be. Again, when they see that pass lineup, when they see that alleyway, they're going to take it and they're going to punch it in time and time again. So I think the Bulls, I like what they're doing. They just need to find that balance of, when to be more defense oriented and when to actually go for that attack. That comes with experience, that comes from learning game sense. And I expect to see them improve as the series progresses.
I also expect them to find a way to kind of disrupt how EC4 are playing the map. You see them set up these plays from the center field because they get the ball rolling very, very fast and they're able to position properly. When they're on the offense, you rarely see the Bulls trying to go for the bumps, trying to go for the demos, which is when it's imperative to go for these more aggressive plays. Yes, you're risking if you fail the bump, if you fail the demo, you're risking probably losing one member for a good portion of the play. But at the same time, if you succeed in taking the demo and taking the bump, you're completely stopping EC4 in their tracks.
Easy solution. Don't miss the bumper of the demo. Problem solved.
I know, but here we go. Game number 2 is live, and we still have EC4 playing on the blue side with GTZ Bulls on the red.
Yeah, Carson going to pass it off. Hadri going to take the shot. No. Let's go blue and red as they are playing on a map as well. Carson throwing it back to XYZ, who will get stopped by Psycho. And, Henrik actually bumping Hadri off of that right now, looking for that next touch. It will drop it in perfect place for King Tuga, who instead is going to try to play it through the corner. Has to beat 2 defenders. Does get it back to the first, but not quite past the second. And Psycho, that's a big miss.
A big miss. The ball goes straight in. Great defense coming in from Kintuga. As you do see Enrique now try to bump it in hard. He bumps into Psycho, gets him a little bit disrupted. He's low on boost, so he needs to go back and claim some boost for himself.
I actually like to see that the Bulls are kind of doing what you suggested right now, and they are going for those bumps, and they are starting to try and push it on through. However, they haven't been the cleanest bumps, and they haven't been beating that first man to really make those bumps have greater effect. At the moment, however, both teams are playing a bit further back than what they did in the previous game. That's a good pass, but it's not quite going to get caught right now.
Yeah.
The Bulls are really setting themselves up, though. They're playing a bit further back, deeper rotations as a result. It's going to be harder for EC4 to really make sustained pushes up the pitch.
You like Psycho in that play, disrupting the back. Hadri had the freedom to come across and get the play, or get the defense going. And look at this. Nobody's going to bump into him. He gets the demo on Kintuga. This is exactly what the Bulls were missing. But somehow, Henry is still there. We're getting the defense. Great bump from Psycho, knocking down Hadri and disrupting the offensive play completely.
Now, this is the Bulls defense that I'm used to seeing right now. They're reading out the pass plays and doing their best to disrupt them before they come to fruition. And that's also been another factor in throwing EC4 down right now. However, sometimes when they do this, they do struggle a bit on getting those big defensive clears, and that could lead to a more sustained attack. And considering how high EC4 is attacking with the ball shot from Henrique, it's going to get saved right now. But considering how high in the aerial game coming out of EC4, that means more boost is going to be used by the Bulls, and they can't really keep the sustained defense up for much longer. Henrique, however, is going to catch a pass himself and shoot it straight down the middle. Fantastic goal coming from the Bulls.
1 or 2 minutes and 10 seconds in, a huge cross play. Enrique perfectly positioned, and the ball flew fast enough that EC4 had no option but to reset the game. Now, 1-0, still completely recoverable score here, and they immediately get it back.
Oh, that is heartbreaking. I don't mean to laugh, but that's the exact worst case scenario, unfortunately, for the Bulls after a fantastic individual play to get their first lead, get some momentum. The kickoff turns into a complete disaster as they double commit trying to cheat through 1-1. Once again, we're tied.
Oh boy. Now the aerial game is still being dominated by EC4. Psycho tries to get the ball out of their way. Enrique is the one that gets the final touch, and it's now a 3v2. Can King Tuga get it? Beautiful play from GTZ Bull.
And we saw hints of this yesterday, but today they actually pull it off. It's the 1-2-3. King Tuga with that spike was absolutely filthy. If that doesn't get you standing up out of your seat, I do not know what will. Fantastic goal from the Bulls right there.
Let's see if they can repeat it, because these are very good signs from the Portuguese squad. EC4, they're leading one game. Reminder, this is a best-of-5 series.
Yeah, exactly that. So, I mean, it's still a lot of work to be done. Karsten actually loses possession of the ball, so Psycho's going to punish them for it. That's actually on target. That might be a goal. XYZ able to rotate around, make the save, but more pressure is going to be put on by the Bulls. A tough situation. XYZ finds that alleyway, gets it past Henrique.
Audrey now on the offense. Karsten manages to bump the ball away. Psycho still gets it in a good position. Audrey recovers the ball, gets it on the offense. XYZ a little bit farther behind. As Psycho gets it in the general direction of the net. We have Karsten airborne, trying to disrupt it. Now Enrique, clear goal. Can Karsten make it? Yes, he can.
Good save by Karsten right there, but they're not out of danger just yet. Psycho doesn't get that touch, but Hardy loses possession. Who's underneath it? First, XYZ just barely beats out King Tuga, and Henrique has to slow the pace down so the rest of his team can rotate back on defense. Psycho was able to get back there and just makes the save. Shot from Hadri, though. That's going to be good, and we are tied.
We are tied yet again. A bit of a slump there, and a very sloppy play from GTZ Bulls on the defense. A bit of this coordination. He had Henry getting stuck between the ball and the wall, and once the ball bumped off, he had King Tuga struggling to get his pacing, and it finally landed in the bottom of the box. Once again, Hadri goes in. Great defense by Psycho.
That was almost the worst possible scenario right there for, I believe that was Henrique, who went for the ball, missed it, and then found himself floating in no man's land. Very lucky Psycho was able to make that save, although they're not out of danger just yet. Karsten can't quite get behind the ball, and Henrique, looking for a bit of redemption, trying to punish XYZ, will slow things down, and King Tuga, that's a very unfortunate miss, but he does make up for it with the demo.
Huge demo on XYZ. This is going to stop their power play on its tracks. Karsten tries to lead the ball in. King Tuga's there for the defense. GTZ Bulls are trying to collect some boost in order to make an offensive play. That's why XYZ is already strong on the defense. Bump there from King Tuga. Set up on the goal. XYZ on the defense. Once again, Psycho tries to get it, but he's left behind.
Yeah, this is such a tense game right now, but that shot looks good. XYZ. No, he pushed too far forward. Wasn't expecting the crossbar play. That's it. Hadri's going to put another one on target. That's going to sneak right on in. King Tuga doesn't get the touch he needs. And with 20 seconds remaining, the Spanish side retake the lead.
Oh, man, that bump felt so bad from King Tuga. He was well positioned, but he didn't flip the car fast enough to get the ball on the right angle out of the goal. They're already setting up the rebound, but unfortunately for them, EC4 in the lead. Could this be a goal? Yes, it is. After two back-to-back demos, GTZ Bulls are left with nobody left to defend.
And the kickoff game is starting to become an issue right now for the Bulls, unfortunately. That's twice they've thrown everyone down to the opposite end of the pitch and just got immediately punished for it. Yes, they got the demos, but they didn't come through fast enough to start that goal. And I think they're going to have to rethink their kickoff strategy because throwing two men down isn't working.
4-2, 8 seconds on the board. King Tuga struggling to get the ball rolling on the opposite side of his pitch. And with 1 second left on the clock, can EC4 score another goal? No, they can't, but they win game number 2.
Part of me was actually half expecting Henrique right there to just knock it in himself, or Henrique, I should say. Henrique. Enrique J. I mean, it's close enough, but yeah, definitely a very exciting game. I don't think the scoreline again is really doing this contest much justice because this GTZ Bulls team, they're really taking it to EC4. EC4 nearly lost that one. They had to find 2 goals in the final 20 seconds really to establish that 4-2
Yeah.
lead. However, EC4, they still are that faster team. I still think they're that more consistent team, but credit where credit is due to GTZ right now in rising to their opponent's level.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's working out for them. I mean, the only problem I see with GTZ is their actual defensive plays. Once again, much like what we saw last series between For the Win and Infusion, was that flaw in the boost management where you can't get enough momentum behind your car to bump the ball out of your space fast enough or strongly enough to set up an offensive play. So you're always stuck in that defensive loop where the enemy team is just running circles around you. They have the opportunity to go back, get boost, get back into the offense, and just play around that.
Yeah, I have to agree in that sense. I think another sort of issue, unfortunately, for the Bulls is just consistency in hitting that ball sometimes in some of those tricky aerial situations. There were a few swings and misses, and while EC4 wasn't necessarily punishing as hard as, like, let's say, the Canyons or Super Mode would have been able to, these are still unforced errors that you just cannot make in these types of situations. A little bit more consistency on hitting the ball sometimes goes a long way, especially if you're able to hit it hard, as you were talking about before, where sometimes their touches are just a little bit too soft and can't be
Yep.
punished. And these are mistakes that EC4 really aren't making.
So two things to take away from here: soft bumps and soft touches. No go. No bueno. We saw a little bit more action when it came to the bumping and the demoing, but we also saw how EC4 were able to punish that. It's on the kickoff. It was mostly on the kickoffs. You saw
Yeah.
how much GTC Bulls were committing to those demos at the kickoff so they could get a power play off of it. But the
Yeah.
thing is, EC4 just need one player to walk out of there alive because of the momentum you gain from demoing versus bumping. I mean,
Mhm.
your card's going to keep on going straight. It's like it never hit anything.
Yeah.
So they didn't really have a follow-up play because they commit all three members on that kickoff and it just goes sideways because the ball is behind them.
A wise man once told me the goal of the kickoff is to just not have the ball scored against you. And it doesn't really feel like the Bulls are playing that game. They're trying to turn it in, try and like and create opportunities for themselves off the kickoffs. And that's not usually what you want to do. As Hadri looking to punish on yet another awkward miss off the kickoff right there from King Tuga. Fortunately, though, for the Bulls, they're able to recover and make a defensive play. Psycho can't quite get that next touch, but Henrique will keep some offensive pressure on the board.
XYZ tries to get it in, but doesn't quite find the target as Psycho lobs the ball airborne. You have a small touch, but Carson's already on the job to try to disrupt it. Ball once again offensively placed towards GTZ Bulls. Goes in. Oh, great defense by Henrique. That was going to be a clean goal from EC4.
King Tuga also dropped a fantastic pass right there. Unfortunately, no one was there to catch it, but you do that again with someone in mid-pitch, that turns into a goal. However, Karsten, nearly sets Hadri up right there, but Hadri's shot, unfortunately, is going to be a little bit wide to the right. 50-50, won by Karsten at the moment. Henrique needs to get to the ball, saves the flick, and uses it to punch it forward, but right now, this mid-pitch play coming from EC4 is a little bit too fast and a little bit too consistent, and they are putting shots on target.
Once again, it's in, and there's nobody there from GTC Bulls to really stop it, and XYZ opens up the scoreboard yet again.
Was that? Yeah, okay, it was XYZ going for the challenge, and that was just really unfortunate. King Tuga, he wanted to play it off the wall. I don't think he was expecting it to hit the crossbar, let alone bounce in more towards the goal. At that position, he couldn't do anything except for watch it slide in, because if he had touched the ball, it would just smashing it in faster. Really unlucky play right there for the Bulls.
Absolutely. Let's see if they can bounce back off of it. Hadri sitting inside the goal is going to be able to actually stop any power plays coming in from GTZ Bulls. We're trying to rebound on the offense. Psycho goes in. Carson already rotated towards the defense.
Yeah, by rotating on the defense, unfortunately, that is going to slow off this attack and give EC4 more time to prepare. XYZ, again, another great touch. I have to say, XYZ so far in the series has been playing absolutely phenomenally. He's been winning so many of these 50s, setting up his team time and time again. The other one who's been stepping up in my eyes has been Karsten as well, especially when playing through corners. So EC4, definitely playing very, very well. Very similar to how they played against, you know, the like of the Canyons before. And they're showing why they might be in discussion as being one of the more elite teams in this tournament.
True, true. 1-0 still, 2 minutes and 50 seconds left. GTZ Bulls seem to having a little bit more success in defending against the onslaught of EC4, even tying up the scoreboard as Enrique just bumps it softly into the goal.
I don't know how much a believer you are in caster curses, but I sing the praises of EC4 and immediately their defense collapses. They have too many people stuck in the corner and Enrique is just going to pop that ball straight down the middle and get themselves that equalizing goal. We are tied 1 apiece again, still looking in a reverse sweep situation, and those are very tricky to pull off, but the Bulls, with the way how they're playing, it's definitely within that realm of possibility. However, XYZ, no, that shot not quite accurate enough.
Hadri, he was well positioned to rebound that ball into the goal, but he did not have any momentum because he was just serving there as a spectator fundamentally. Karsten cuts off the ball. Gentuga manages to disrupt the play. Psycho's already on the case. Hadri rebounds it over to XYZ, who cross jumps it, but Enrique flies over to stop that goal.
Yeah, that was a good aerial shot, however, with 2 people sitting in the box. It was a kind of shot with a hope and a prayer that it would get through. The defense from the Bulls, when they're in their box, I still think are one of the best in this tournament. However, they just haven't really been playing in the box so far. That feels why it's breaking apart. That was a bump from Hadri, and King Tuga actually is thrown off and misses another big bump coming from XYZ that time, I believe. But still, the pass is good, so Hadri has to go for an intercept, throwing it up to XYZ. Not quite enough power behind it to get to that backboard, however.
Oh, this could be dangerous. GTZ Bulls are playing cleanly in their side of the field as EC4 back away temporarily to claim some boost. They're dry. Their tanks are dry, so they need to give an opening over the GTZ Bulls. They're fast on their feet. They immediately collect the boost, and they're back in the action. Oh, no. Psycho just stole the boost away from Hadri. Hadri's running low.
Yeah, that said, though, I still think we're going to see that clear. Good pinch from Psycho, and he saved his boost to get that next touch. King Tuga, though, you gotta be there. He's a little bit too far back, and by pushing that far forward, he could leave himself up to being exposed. However, instead, he goes for the intercept off the wall, nearly setting up Psycho. The next touch from Enrique is good, and once again in this series, we're seeing a 1-goal lead in favor of the Bulls.
Carson was well positioned there for the defense, but he did not expect the flying Enrique to come in and collect that goal. Clear as it gets, and Bulls are once again in the lead, but can they retain that lead?
I mean, Karsten in that situation, he did the best he could do. In an ideal world, that ball doesn't touch the post and he's able to take it to the corner, but that would have been such a tight angle. So I'm not going to be too harsh on Karsten in that situation. However, if we are in that place where 1 goal is needed for EC4 if they want to tie this back up and still look to get that sweep. However, here comes the Bulls. They're stampeding straight down the middle of the pitch, and they're setting themselves up for another possible goal in this one.
Nice. See someone's there in the center field to try to collect that. No, Gintuga sets up another bounce, but Karsten completely disrupts the play for GTZ Bulls. Psycho tries to regain control, doesn't quite bump it in the right direction. Bit of a mess coming in here in the area of GTZ Bulls as they struggle to maintain control. Once again, not bumping the ball fast enough. Karsten gets bumped in, but he barely budges.
Enrique has been doing such a good job with some of these 50s right now.
No.
He has been really keeping them in it.
Oh, no.
No, that's a big miss when with 10 seconds to go, Karsten has a green field ahead of him.
It already goes in and ties up the score for EC4.
Oh, my goodness.
That's a swing and a miss. We had 2 swings and a miss. On the replay, you only get to see one of them, but it completely opened up the board for EC4 to claim an easy goal.
Caster curses are real. I sing Henrique's praises and he misses that and just sets up EC4 to find that equalizer. I think we're going to be seeing another overtime unless something absolutely crazy happens right here. Not going to be the case. An overtime with the match on the line.
Never lucky GTZ Bulls. Second time they've been in the lead. Second time they can't retain it long enough for the game to end and move on to the next match. Now, overtime, it doesn't matter how long you take to claim a goal. Once you claim it, it's yours. You already have a demo. Hardy goes in hard. Could this be it? No, Carson's there for the defense.
Ooh, Karsten, a fantastic save, but they're not out of danger yet. Psycho can't get it past XYZ, and Karsten doesn't get the touch he's looking for. Henrique wins yet another 50-50, throws the ball into the box, but Hadri gets there first. Fortunately, Psycho was playing back, but XYZ has space, has time, going to pass it back to Hadri, throws it to the box. No, that's a shot, but the save was made.
Center play from XYZ, tries to get someone in, doesn't quite find the height to get to the ball. Bit of a mess over there on the defensive side of GTZ Bulls. And the same happens on EC4 side.
Oh my, yeah, but they're not going to get punished for it because of how far back the Bulls were playing. That said, King Tuga has a chance, doesn't get the touch he needs. If he redirects it, that's a goal. Psycho throwing it back to mid-pitch, but it's XYZ who is there is waiting. Henrique throwing things down, throwing it back to the corner. It's a pass to King Tuga, who's going to try and take it himself. Caught in the corner by Karsten, who has boost to go the distance, but is disrupted momentarily. Hadri picking up the scraps, carrying things through XYZ, through the corner, ball in the box. No one's there to take the shot.
Not this time, no stir. Karsten for the first time on the offense. Gonna try to get it in. It's XYZ who claims the goal and the sweep against the GTZ Bulls.
It is a bit of a heartbreak for the Bulls, but a win well-deserved for EC4 as XYZ just has to sit there in the box and to tap that one in a perfectly delivered pass and a perfect series for EC4. Granted, they had to fight for it. They had to earn it. GTC Bulls taking it to them every step of the way. This was, strangely enough, probably our closest contested series, despite it being a 3-0.
Yes, it was. For the most part, GTZ Bulls were practically in the lead on every game, I dare say. I don't quite recall if they were. Yeah, they didn't have the lead in the game one, but the remainder two games, they made EC4 sweat and earned their victories.
Yeah, I mean, EC4, they had to get clutch goals in the final 30 seconds, 2 games in a row in order to bring it back. We even see this crazy overtime right there in game number 3. So if you're the Bulls, yes, it's a 3-0 sweep, and that's got to sting. However, you can hold your head up high because that was a well-fought series.
They were very well fought. I mean, it's just about retaining your defensive prowess and just maintaining the enemy team behind their offensive lines. You can't let them get these opportunities to score. You're taking too long on bouncing the ball away and bouncing the ball out of your area. Obviously, eventually, they're going to succeed in scoring a goal. Because, well, these things happen and you can't really account for everybody. If you're not being aggressive enough, if you're not bumping them out of your area, then they're just going to be free to do whatever they want and take free shots at your goal.
Yeah, absolutely. And that follow through sometimes is the difference between winning and losing. Another big difference, though, also comes through passing plays and how you're able to set up and getting those defensive clears and catching players at mid pitch or even a bit further. And that's something that EC4 did very well both yesterday and today. And that's how a lot of their goals were set up. And that's why, they were able to get that sweep. And I think we need to take a deeper look at EC4 right now because they did take a game off of the tournament favors, the Canyons. They did just sweep the Bulls. This is an actual team right now that can make a deeper run. And I think we need to look a bit more at how they're doing it. And again, it's a lot of fast play,
Yeah.
deep, long passes, and they've been very successful at it 2 days in a row.
Yes, they have. But we have an interview with XYZ where we can ask exactly what we're talking about here. XYZ, welcome to our little caster den. How are you doing, man?
I'm fine, boys. Thank you. How are you?
We're doing great. I mean, we just saw this one team, EC4 beat up GTZ Bulls, man. I don't know if you caught that game, but how did it
Man.
feel? How did it feel?
We are very happy with this result. That's what we were trying to do to get the 3-0 because we didn't start that well yesterday with the loss against Canyons. It was not an easy game, but anyways. So we're very happy with this 3-0. I think we were not playing the best we could, but we managed to get the win anyway. So very happy and proud of you, boys.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
oh
obviously,
my, oh my.
obviously, when you win a 3-0, you do leave that feeling very well and very confident. However, as you mentioned before, it did seem at times there was a little bit of struggles, and sometimes the Bulls were able to catch you off guard. Looking at the larger picture, I suppose, did the Bulls actually surprise you? Was it a case you don't feel you're up to the standards? Moving forward, are you going to then take that into maybe rate some of the Portuguese teams maybe a little higher, or like where does that
Uh,
sort of affect your positioning for everything?
we didn't not underestimated them, but we were not expecting them to go for a lot of demos and break our rotation like that. So it was kind of weird. We got scored sometimes because of that, because we were not expecting them to go to one of us, and we got surprised sometimes. But we tried to get a faster pace, and it worked, so it's fine.
Yeah, because above all, I mean, you did get demoed a few times.
Yeah.
I don't feel like their defense was that great when it came to bumping you out of your rotation. So you had a lot of freedom when it came to the strikes and to actually get goals in. But for the last two games, you were actually behind for a great part of the game. Was this something that you unintentionally allowed them to gain, or was it all planned? Were you comfortable with them having the lead?
Uh, I don't know. They probably understood how we were trying to play and they tried to adapt. So we thought that if we played faster, they would can keep the pace with
Mm.
us. So that's what we tried to do, and it worked
All right.
basically.
Last question, and I'm going to bring up a little bit of a painful memory, and I am sorry, but yesterday
Okay.
you did fall short to the Canyons, but
Yeah,
you were also able to take a game off them.
yeah,
Now, look, I'm knowing you're a confident player, so obviously you're going to be in the finals for that rematch eventually, right? Do
yeah,
you think you learned enough off of that win that when you do get that rematch, you're going to be able to take it to them and take two, possibly three, possibly four games off of them?
yeah. Maybe Canyons. It's a hard team to play against because they are always having the control of the ball and pretty quick to challenge everything. And we thought that the key to play against them were trying to keep the pace or even be faster than them, which is kind of hard. But in those games, the team who wins is the team who makes less mistakes, and we were making some mistakes, and they punish it in instantly. So we're trying
But
to
you did
improve
keep
that.
the pace.
Yeah, we keep the pace, so that's why we had a great series and we took a game for them. But we will try to get more consistent, and I think we can win against them.
Excellent. I love that confidence. And again, I love the speed. I do think you guys are probably one of the fastest teams in this tournament. So I do hope you keep that up and get yourselves that deep run. Again, a big congratulations for your victory today.
Thank you, man.
Congratulations then again, once again for EC4 on their victory. That's going to wrap up the games for today, day number 2 of the Iberian League. And I guess we're done for this week for the time being as well. We'll be back, however, next week on Saturday, May. Help me out here. Math is not my strong suit.
May some date.
May 20.
It's
Darn
the
it. May 23rd. We're going to be back on May 23rd with day number 3 of the Iberian League. So, Maths, man, Max, come on, help me out, man.
I'm on a different day. For me, it's like Sunday and Monday. All right.
You're
I
right.
can't.
You're absolutely right. You're actually right. No, but that's true. That is absolutely true. So next Saturday and Sunday, we're gonna be back with more Rocket League action for the Iberian League. But for this week, myself, Max, and everybody in the production crew are going to bid you farewell and wish you good games, good afternoon, and we'll see you next week.